It's Rob and Brent and my Reggie dude, and don't forget it also features Dawson too. We gonna give you all the dope reviews, but first we'll hit on all the movie news. Cha-ching, cha-ching, box office due. In between the news and the reviews, there's not a lot that we don't do, so turn the volume up, cause we coming through. Put your headphones on and tie your shoes. Jackman and Grant, we got all the views. We're like Brando in Godfather 2. We're gonna make a podcast you can't refuse. This is the Cinema Chat Podcast, and we know a lot about movies. Welcome back to the show, everyone. It's another episode of Cinema Chat Podcast with Rob and Brent and Reggie, featuring Dawson. I'm Brent.
I'm Reggie.
And I'm featuring Dawson.
All right. And this week, we're here to review a 1987 classic. It was Dawson's pick this week, and he went with an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. We're going to be talking about The Running Man whenever we get there later. But, you know, before we get there, we've got regular stuff that we have to take care of. And I also wanted to go ahead and say this at the front of the show. I know that a lot of you have noticed that Rob has been... he has not been here in the last several weeks. He's also been here sporadically over the last couple of months. And, you know, he's had a lot going on personally. And unfortunately, a couple of weeks ago, Rob's wife passed away from stage 4 lung cancer. As far as I know, it happened pretty quickly. I don't know how long it had been going before he told us. But it felt like he told us about it, and then, I don't know, guys, a month later?
Yeah.
Maybe a month. So it happened pretty quickly. They had no indication that she was sick by the time they found out. Sounds like it was already kind of too late, which sucks. Right before Thanksgiving. Rob's birthday was last weekend. Christmas is coming up. Not that there's ever a good time. Like, I can't imagine ever going through that. Not that there's ever a good time, but it's a particularly rough time of year. So we've started a GoFundMe just to, you know, I'm sure there's medical bills and other costs associated with it that happen. You know, you've got Christmas around the corner. So we thought we'd try to gather up some money to give to Rob, maybe provide him some sort of a smile in this time, which is really rough on our old buddy. So I'm going to put the link in the chat here on Twitch. I'm going to put the link in the show notes for the show. So if you have the means, I would appreciate it if you would donate. If you don't, maybe just shout Rob out and let him know you're thinking about him. We miss you, Rob. We look forward to you coming back, but take your time, and, you know, we're thinking about you.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no good way, unless do you guys? I don't know if you guys wanted to say anything. So before I try to segue out of this,
no, I was just gonna say, just add on. You know, donate if you can, and like you said, reach out to Rob, because I know he's going through. You know, it's rough to have to try and deal with that, and then he has his son that he has to, you know, be strong for and everything. So, like, you know, I'm keeping him in my thoughts and prayers and stuff like that. And I guess if you are the praying type, please do that. But yeah, so anything that you guys can do would be a big benefit.
Yeah. Same things. Yeah, we love Rob. We miss him. It's can't believe, you know, we've got kids, and it's tough to think anything like that happening. So we miss you, buddy. Donate if you can. Don't feel bad if you can't. Obviously, it's tough. There's a lot going on for everybody.
Yep.
Rob doesn't know. I don't think he knows we're doing it. I don't think whatever. The idea behind it was really just like, let's give him something so he can pick up something cool for him and the kid for Christmas,
right,
or go on vacation when everything's done, whatever, like do something for him. So,
yeah.
So thank you if you do that. Do it anonymously, whatever. It doesn't matter to us. You know, so yeah, that's all. We love you, Rob.
We love you, Rob. Before we get on to the news, we're going to play this, and then you guys are going to tell me about what you watched this week.
What
did we watch this week? Let us give you a peek. We'll get to the news real soon. First, listen to this little tune. Give us the attention we seek while we tell you what we watched this week. Tell them, Rob. What did you see? Tell them. They want to know. Reggie, what'd you watch this week?
What did I watch? It's December. I'm starting this 25 Christmas movies of December kind of a thing that I do. So I started with there's this documentary on Netflix, Hot Chocolate Nutcracker. It's about Debbie Allen's school. She's if you know anything about dance, you know who Debbie Allen is. But she's also directed a lot of movies and things like that, and she's done a lot of choreography. Chances are, if you've seen a really hot number and like Step Up or something like that, or anything since like the late 70s, early 80s, then you've seen her work. Especially if you watched So You Think You Could Dance. But anyway, she has a dance school where she takes in kids, and teaches them that, you can dance, and is really uplifting and inspiring. And so that's on Netflix. I'll say this. I thought I was going to actually get to see the performance. I was kind of disappointed. That's the only disappointment.
They didn't show the performance?
They didn't show the performance. I was like, as we were going through it, I was like, man, there's only like 30 minutes left. I know the Nutcracker is longer than 30 minutes. I don't think we're going to see this. So there's some highlights, but other than that, but it's still worth watching. Also, I watched Christmas Chronicles 2 with
Kurt Russell.
Yeah, Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn. It's, sappy Christmas movie with kids saving Christmas. It's everything I love about Christmas movies. So I highly recommend both of those. I think there's some other stuff that I watched, but it's not really worth mentioning.
Okay. Dawson?
I was going to say, I saw a theory on Reddit that Christmas Chronicles is actually a sequel to The Thing. And because Kurt Russell got saved by Santa Claus, and he went crazy, and he killed Santa Claus and took over. So,
okay,
interesting.
That's the theory. For me, I haven't watched any movies. I've watched 4 seasons of Letterkenny this week, so I've been watching TV. It's just a fun show to have on in the background. Brent and I were playing video games last night, and we were talking about it because he's watched 5 seasons or whatever, and he's like, I have to have subtitles on with that show. And I got the biggest kick out of that because I'm from, obviously, north, from the north. So the voices, the accents are very familiar to me. And I know like what they're talking about. And he's like, I had to look up things they're talking about.
It's like we were talking about British people and how they speak English, but it's, some things they say, it's like a different language. Watching Letterkenny, Northerners and Canadians, some of the shit they say, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that means. So I'm getting cultured.
Way farther north than me, but
I mean, it's not that much further north.
It's not that much farther.
Reggie, I don't know if your camera got shifted. I'm picking up something over on your right side over there. I don't know what that is.
What now?
I don't know. In your camera, you got like a blanket or something. Here. No, other side, buddy. Yeah,
I see it.
It's like off.
It's distracting. For me,
I could do something about that.
For me, this week, we did watch party where we watched The Running Man, and then after The Running Man, we watched a movie on Hulu called Palm Springs with Andy Samberg.
Ooh, yeah, the Andy Samberg movie.
Yeah, it's got kind of like a Groundhog Day type story to it. It's got some comedy. It's got it's mostly comedy, but there's a little bit of everything in there. It was a pretty good movie. I'd been wanting to watch it. I didn't really know what it was about, so I was kind of surprised going into it, but it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I would recommend that. Reggie, I think you would enjoy that one.
I've seen it already.
Oh, you did? Did you like it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And it was an interesting take on the whole Groundhog's Day thing.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. I liked it. And then I introduced the kids to National Treasure for the first time. And they liked it. The 8-year-old, there's a scene where he cuts his thumb to put the blood on the pipe, to use it as like an ink thing. And she didn't like that. She thought that was gross, and she would not stop talking about it. Even after the movie was over, she's like, I liked it, except for that part where he cut his thumb open. I'm like, come on, kid. Come on. But they want to watch Book of Secrets now, the second one. So I guess we'll be watching that soon. I also watched, my hand was forced into watching a movie that I don't want to watch, but now I'm going to have to watch twice because we're reviewing it in a few weeks. I had to watch Jingle Jangle on Netflix with Molly, which is a Christmas musical. But like I said, we're going to be reviewing that the week of Christmas. So I guess you'll just have to wait until then to find out whether or not I liked it and whether or not I'm going to dig it more or less the second time I watch it.
I think I already know the answer.
So we'll find out when we get there. But I watched Jingle Jangle, and now I'm going to watch it again in about 8 days for Watch Party. So, yeah, that's what we're doing. You guys ready for some movie news?
Yeah.
Speaking of things we're going to watch in the future.
Insightful.
Good news.
Sorry. I thought we were moving on. My bad.
No, that's okay. That's on me. I watched the Star Wars Christmas special, the Lego one.
Oh, you watched ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Because it was there. It was one of those things where it was like, it wasn't all that short. It wasn't that long, and I didn't have a lot of time. So I was like, I want to watch something. And I was like, oh, let me check this out. So
that seems like a good enough time to plug our Patreon, patreon.com/cinemachatpodcast. We do a weekly cutting room floor show, which is for Patreon only. This next week is going to be our 100th episode of Patreon show. Patreon only. 100 episodes that you don't get on the regular feed. Next week, we're going to be doing Jingle All the Way, then Star Wars Lego Holiday Special, then the regular Star Wars Holiday Special. We got a lot of things going for the end of 2020 on the old Patreon over there. Patreon.com/cinemachatpodcast. Think about it, see about it, be about it. Now I can play this.
Cindy, the news is on!
Insightful.
Good news.
If the headline is big enough, it makes the news big enough.
Timely.
The news goes on for 24 hours a day.
Well prepared.
You like Huey Lewis on the news?
Well, I got some bad news for you.
Do you want the Aladdin news or the Aladdin news?
The Aladdin news?
Aladdin news?
This is movie news. Dawson, you put the stuff in here, but do we start with the big story or do we save the big story for last?
We'll just do that at the end because that's what we're going to talk about the most.
Yeah. It's going to be most of our news segment.
A lot of this was just like, we don't have a ton. I think there's some fun things. Me being obviously a Star Wars fan and The Last Jedi fan.
What?
I know, right? I saw this week, Ryan Johnson was doing a little Q&A on Twitter, and a fan asked, did you ever think about putting Anakin in The Last Jedi? And he said he thought about it, but the relationship seemed closer to Yoda than it did to Anakin because he only knew Vader at the time. So he more basically Luke knew Anakin more than he knew, or Vader than he knew Anakin. So he could have had both. I don't know why he couldn't have both. Like, you're on an island, your dad couldn't ghost into you, and you get to know your dad a little bit over whatever. But that's Ryan Johnson for you.
I feel like you're creating more issues for people that already don't like that movie.
I know, because I started to not like it either. The more I talked about it, I'm like, you're already digging more plot holes. You could have learned to meet your dad, dude. Like, let's go on to the next story.
This is like the reverse Zack Snyder effect. He's making it worse. Anyways,
just a little Star Wars news. Whatever. The Last Jedi sucked. Legendary is apparently rebooting the Toxic Avenger, and Peter Dinklage is going to lead the Toxic Avenger. I don't know if did you guys ever see the Toxic Avenger in the 90s?
Yeah, dude, he's got the mop.
Yeah, a long time ago. Yeah, but
yeah. So apparently Dinklage is going to lead.
He's going to be the Toxic Avenger.
I guess he's going to be the Toxic Avenger. That's just the story that's all right.
What do you mean by lead? Like he's just going to be. Is he going to be the Toxic Avenger?
I guess he could be bullied for being his size, and then fall into a pit, and then be big. I don't.
Call me Elf one more time.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that
he's an angry elf.
It's cool to see Peter, or they could just ignore altogether that because that's what they think they're looking to do is just ignore the fact that he's short. Like, just cast that out. Who cares? Like, let him just be an actor.
Yeah.
So
or are they gonna? I know I'm stepping all over what you're saying. Or are they going to use like Lord of the Rings style camera work to make him look the same size as everyone else?
I don't know. I think that's a big push to try to get for him because like at the end of the day he's a normal person.
Yes,
and he's a phenomenal actor, right? Like he's Game of Thrones. I know you 100%. Don't like it, Brent, but I mean his work on there is he is the show. He's one of the best things about the show, and none of that has to do. I mean, yes, he makes fun of his height, but none of it has to do with him being a dwarf and being but he's such a phenomenal character.
No, he's an awesome actor, and he is one of the rare few that are really good at drama and comedy. Mm-hmm. It's like he can do both very well.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're learning more and more that there are people out there, specifically dramatic actors that can do comedy. Like there seems to be more and more of them branching out. Like Charlize Theron, like we learned this year that she can do comedy, right? So we're starting to see that some of those dramatic actors can branch out more. So there's more and more of them that can do the full battle as actors, but he was one of the first that I can remember thinking like he is really good at both. Mm-hmm. Like he makes me fucking laugh. If you have not seen his Saturday Night Live episode when he was the host, it's one of the best Saturday Night Live episodes of the last like decade. It's so good. So maybe check that out. But yeah, as the Toxic Avenger, I'm all about it. I mean, if he's the Toxic Avenger.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. I don't know what else he would play. Would you cast somebody other than the lead first in the movie?
I
feel like if you're casting, you're going to
probably not
build around the lead, right?
Probably. Right.
So
you don't think they started Field of Dreams with Ray Liotta? They're like, we got Ray Liotta for Field of Dreams.
I mean, if you have a character in mind when you're writing the script, but that's usually not the lead character.
James Earl Jones starring in Field of Dreams.
Exactly. Unless it's like a I don't know, like a horror movie kind of situation where.
Did you say situation?
Yeah, I did.
Situation.
We're like, like Tony Todd isn't the main, like, he's not the protagonist of Candyman.
But he's Candyman.
Right.
So, I mean, presumably the Toxic Avenger,
right.
If it's like a horror movie, like he's not the main character.
Yeah, that's true.
Just depends on how you want to look at it.
I'm interested.
All right, good.
You want to know what I'm not interested in?
This next story?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Paramount came out of nowhere and they decided to let everybody know that Godfather 4 could possibly happen eventually. And Francis Ford Coppola had a script developed in the 90s that he was ready to do, but then he could never get on board, and then things just kind of fell apart. So there's talks of it now, especially with the re-release of I think it's the 30th anniversary of Godfather 3. They're thinking that might spark interest in a return to the series. So So, and more, put that in your file of things I don't care about.
Yeah, same here.
Dude, the Mafia movies have had their time. I don't think they work now. I don't think you could do...
I don't think they worked
good.
then.
I don't think you...
that's me.
Godfather Part 2 is a phenomenal movie. The other two, I don't really care as much for, especially 3.
Mm-hmm.
2 is really good. But I will tell you, I don't think they work on any level now. Like, I don't think you can do The Godfather now. I don't think you can do Goodfellas now. I just don't think those movies work.
Yeah.
Right.
I as much as I love those, I think you're kind of right. I don't know if there's been one that's been close to it.
I mean, The Departed maybe is like the closest
The Departed,
thing
The Departed is probably the
to
closest.
a mob movie.
Yeah,
Don't mention
is good.
It's called The Departed, Reggie. Maybe you should look it up.
But yeah, I think it's probably because like you have to root for people who are essentially kind of like evil, you know. So I just don't think that works.
Yeah, The Irishman didn't fucking work for me.
Well, there's a couple of reasons for that. It was 4 hours long,
Yeah.
and you kept old actors kicking young, like.
Yeah, but how long?
Oh.
Yeah, but how long do you think The Godfather Part 4 would be? I bet you.
Yeah,
I bet you
like
$100. It's at least 2 hours and 45 minutes, at least.
Yeah.
Fuck The Godfather.
Look, I like gangster movies and mobs. I like them, so I'd probably watch it.
Fuck them. John's in the chat. He says, "Cool, Reggie's still awake. We are past the age of organized crime films outside of cartel movies." Yeah, dude, we're all about Mexico now. Sicario and shit.
It's true.
We've moved on.
All right.
We've moved on from Italy.
Hell yeah. All right. So the next two stories kind of go hand in hand. I'll go with the good news, I guess, the good news story first. Potentially going through. This is going to be a tiny political, but it's a good story. So just shut up. There's a bill that's going through right now, a coronavirus relief bill that sounds like it's going to get passed through, and that would benefit small theaters / live venues that we haven't been able to go into for the last 10 months. There's like a $15 billion bill that's going through right now. And basically the qualifications for that is your organization has to have less than 500 employees. So no AMC, no Regal. The big guys are just kind of shit out of luck, like figure it out. But the little guys are hopefully going to get saved. So that's really cool, especially for some of those, downtown Minneapolis has First Avenue, and that place is Kevin Smith is coming here in 2 weeks to do movies to help save First Avenue. And that's a historic venue. So there's tons of those, and this is going to help a lot of those across the country. So hopefully that's good.
Yeah, I'm all for helping out the small theaters and live venues and all of that stuff. I do wonder, and like you said, this goes hand in hand with our next story. Are we going to get to a point where the big theaters get their bailout too? Because I feel like we will, and I don't think that would be the right thing to do. But
I don't think we will, because I think that they're not essential to anything. They're not. And I think there's value in keeping small theaters, and I'm not just talking about movie theaters. I'm talking also plays and those small theaters open, because there's value in the arts there. But AMC is kind of a dying model. I and I think that one story that we're going to talk about coming up, but I think that that's kind of what the pandemic has proven and shown. There are a lot of things that the coronavirus and our response to it has shown are not as essential or important as we thought. The fact that so many people are working from home now, we learned that we don't actually have to get in our cars and drive to a building. A lot of people, so there's going to be a kind of building crisis, I guess, like a housing crisis, but for like businesses coming up. So, and I just think that what we're seeing with the big theaters, unfortunately, is that what was on the horizon is just here sooner than it would have been.
Well, let's say, for the sake of argument, you know what? I want to tag this on at the end of the other story. So let's move on to the next story.
Okay. So moving into the biggest story, probably of the year besides theaters being closed down, Warner Brothers has announced that they're moving every release from 2021, starting with Wonder Woman, which is Christmas of this year, to HBO Max, same day as theater. So the only people who are going to be able to go to theaters are the ones that want to go, and if you pay $15 a month, you can get the same movies or multiple movies that you would have to pay $15 to $20 a piece to go see, or your AMC A-list pass if they're valid. But it's interesting because who's going to do it next? Who's pulling the card next and going? Well, and Universal's going. All of ours are on Peacock now.
Yeah, I mean that Universal and Disney are the logical next ones that could do it because they sort of have that built-in streaming service. I think Universal even more so than Disney because they need to do something to boost Peacock because I don't think they've had quite the launch that they would like to have.
Saved by the Bell doesn't work, by the way.
Okay, thanks for letting me know.
We watched the first episode, and they're basically just doing all of the jokes from before to now. It doesn't translate without a laugh track. There's no laugh track, so it's
there's no laugh track.
No, so watch it back. Go watch Saved by the Bell and pull the laugh track. It's awful.
Are there fourth wall breaks?
Yeah, just like they do.
Timeout.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, there are those. It's a cool spin on the story. But I don't know that I'm gonna pay $5 to watch the other 7 episodes.
Yeah. I think they need to do something. So I think they would be actually first to move before Disney. Maybe not, but I think it would make more sense for them, honestly.
Well, they're getting The Office in a month, so. I
just bought the Office on Vudu for $30. So,
but how many people are going to look at it?
So fuck Peacock.
I'll pay $10 a month, just like I did for Netflix, and just to watch The Office, because that's all I care about is The Office.
Well, I'm sure Peacock is going to be around longer than Quibi. So,
what I was going to say earlier is, you were talking about the big theaters being a dying model. I guess if AMC were to fail, let's say AMC and Regal are just too big. They don't get the bailout. There's nothing they can do. People aren't going to theaters and they fail. Is there one of the smaller chains, like maybe an Alamo Drafthouse, that doesn't expand to 500 theaters in the United States, but they expand to maybe a couple of theaters in every state? A theater in each of the big cities in every state. Maybe they do 100 to 150 theaters. Is there a chain out there that you could think could make sense to expand to fill that void, especially one of those art housey theaters that has like the experience attached to it? Like we went to Alamo Drafthouse in Austin, and it was a really fucking cool experience. And I think that could sell to audiences more so than AMC, which, by the way, is not happy about HBO Max and Warner Brothers, because their CEO released a statement that said that HBO Max, Warner Brothers was trying to bolster HBO Max, and they didn't care who they hurt in the process. And they said they're confident that once there's a vaccine, the people will once again enjoy seeing movies in their large, comfy chairs with their big screens and their wonderful sound systems. So that was their statement. And they are in the process of communicating with Warner Brothers about their decision.
Here's the thing. Like, I mean, again, I'm going to Pimp Cutting Room Floor, because we basically did a whole episode on what the future cinema looks like, and it's kind of funny that came out, that we did that last week, and then this comes out this week. But that being said, I think it's kind of like bowling theaters. Like bowling theaters used to, I mean, not bowling theater, bowling alleys. Got theaters, I don't know, but bowling alleys used to be everywhere. Like as a kid, like growing up, they were like everywhere. And now, you got to search for a bowling alley. And I think that's just the way that unfortunately theaters are going. So it's kind of like, I get why AMC, their CEO, is going to be mad about it, but it's also kind of like Blockbuster being mad at Netflix, and it's like it's a problem, but it's why like Amazon killed like Circuit City or Radio Shack or something like that. There's just not a need for that in our modern economy.
And to his point, that's definitely what Warner Brothers is trying to do. But Warner Brothers only has responsibility to help movie theaters out so long as they think movie theaters are integral to them making money.
Right.
The minute that movie theaters are not, they don't deem movie theaters important, they no longer have a responsibility to help keep movie theaters open. Like, that's on the movie theaters to work a business model that's going to keep them in business. It's not in the studio's hands to help you be successful in your business. That's not how it works. Would it be nice if they did something that helped movie theaters? Yeah, sure. But these are multi-billion-dollar companies. Like, they're looking out for themselves first.
Right.
It's just the way it is. So, I understand why AMC would be upset, but there ain't a damn thing you can do about it, bro.
And this is something we were talking about before the show, and we said to wait for it, but I wonder how this affects, because like, I don't see how they're going to make a lot of money off of these movies if they're releasing them in this fashion. Like, I feel like the business model for making movies has to change if this is what they're going to do.
Yes, they're not going to make as much money via subscription model on a streaming service as they would if they got each person to pay coming out to a theater. They're going to have more eyeballs on the movies, and they're going to have a more predictable stream of income coming in. I think their hope is that these people that sign up for HBO Max for the year of 2021, like we were talking about before, $15 for 12 months is $180. A lot of people don't spend near that much going to a movie theater every year. So, especially just to see, Warner Brothers movies in particular.
Right.
So they're getting that chunk of money from a subset of people. Yes, there'll be people sharing logins. Yes, there'll be people doing watch parties. So not everyone's going to spend $15. I mean, shit, I get it for free with my internet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'll continue to get it. I don't know how long I'll get it for free. Maybe they won't be as, maybe those free subscriptions won't be as readily available as they are now. If they feel like they can get people to sign up, maybe they'll force my hand and get $15 a month out of me. But I think their hope is that beyond 2021, they get people in there. They realize how great HBO Max actually is, because we've been touting like it's the perfect like partner for Netflix. It's the perfect combination. So I think they're hoping they get people in the door and then they keep them, so they get that extra revenue stream in addition to their movies in perpetuity.
And I also don't hold it back. Like they will probably raise their price, right? Like Netflix has done it. Netflix slowly increased. My Netflix has went up to $18 a month.
Yes.
I'm not blinking an eye at it because I use it every day. So HBO Max is going to do the same thing. Like, you're getting movie theater quality because Wonder Woman 84 is being
4K.
released. in 4K, Dolby Vision HD. Like, it's getting released in all these things that like my home theater can do, and I'm like, that's cool. I'm excited for that. I don't need to go sit in, I can't go sit in the theater right now. I can't go see it. So
listen to Dawson just slyly toss in there like my home theater can do that.
That boy's one mean motherfucker.
Look, my TV was under $1,000. It's not the best. Like Sauce's TV was more than mine. I'm just saying, like, it has those things in it that are like, these are cool and they're nice to have. Like that's more or less like I'm saying, you can buy that for relatively inexpensive. I know a company that's making a home theater projector that's going to be 4K and it's going to be like under $1,000 and it's going to be really, really cool. So you can have an experience like me.
Ooh, I like that company.
So
that's good.
Yeah.
It sounds like a good deal. But yeah, dude, HBO Max getting all 2021 Warner Brothers movies day of release in the theaters. You know what?
Yeah.
Guys?
And I'm really here for it. I am here for it. I'll say this, like, if there are ever streaming wars, it's going to be hard to decide if I'm going to list with Netflix or HBO Max.
You mean like a literal war?
Yeah. Like the Cola Wars back in the 80s.
Oh, shit. Do we want to touch on anything else for news, or do we want to move on to the box office?
Let's get on to the box office.
Box office. Box office for the weekend of November 26th through the 29th. That is a 4-day, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4-day Thanksgiving weekend. I know we typically only do the 3-day, but we've had some really miserable box office numbers here lately, so I'm trying to get as much in there as I possibly can. Reggie, I mentioned before we got started that the box office was a little bit of a surprise this week because we had The Croods, A New Age, at number 1.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even know that movie was coming out. I don't know what's going on with it.
I saw a bunch of ads for it and trailers like last week, and I was like, oh, this actually looks good. Like, I kind of wanted to check it out, not having seen the first one. But then I was like, I'm not going to see it in theater, though. But so I'll see it eventually when it comes to Redbox.
Well, it released in 2,211 theaters to a total of $12.4 million. That was much more. I was expecting to come in here and see like number 1, $3.5 million.
Yeah.
But Thanksgiving weekend, it's a huge weekend for movie theaters. If you're going to go hang out with grandma at dinner, you're going to go to a movie. You don't care.
Right.
Number 2, Freaky, 966,000. Number 3, The War with Grandpa, 747,000. Number 4, Let Him Go, 567,000. And number 5, Honest Thief, $424,000. That is your Thanksgiving 4-day weekend box office for the weekend of November 26th, 27th, 28th, and 29th. I was drunk on all of those days. I'm drunk now. I'm drunk right now.
Isn't Freaky a Blumhouse movie?
Freaky is a Universal movie.
Oh, I thought I saw something that was Blumhouse.
I heard it was good though.
Did that get distributed by?
It's hitting VOD like this week, I think.
Let me take a look.
Really?
It's the Vince Vaughn one, right?
Is it Tenet out on VOD or?
Tenet is the 15th.
15th, okay.
I guess we could put that in movie news, but nobody cares. On demand, yeah, Friday.
I'm looking.
Knitting.
Yes, it is Blumhouse. Distributed by Universal. Yeah, I'm interested in that one.
I mean, I'm interested.
It looked entertaining enough to me. So, yeah.
It is a new movie, so
right. And a different take on the whole Freaky Friday thing. Cool.
Well, we already have our schedule for the next.
If only we didn't have our schedule set and we had to watch Jingle Jangle. I hear Freaky's a Christmas movie.
I don't think that's true.
Nice try.
All right. Are we ready for our feature presentation?
Yes.
Yeah.
And now, our feature presentation.
The Running Man, 1987, directed by Paul Michael Glazer, based on the novel by Stephen King, as Richard Bachman. Written for screen by Steven De Souza, starring Arnie Schwarzenegger, Jim Brown, Jesse Ventura,
Jesse the Body Ventura,
Professor Toro Tanaka, Dweezil Zappa, Richard Dawson. It's a murderer's row of a cast for The Running Man, 1987. This was Dawson's pick, and Dawson, I don't want to show your cards too early, but I think at one point you said this was a top 10 all-time movie for you.
This is like I've watched this movie a couple times now in the last few months. Just because I'm around and it feels like home, and I love this movie. And it's just so great. The line, I wish I could do the one-liner count. I don't know how many one-liners are in this movie, but there's a lot of them. And that's just it's a passion movie for me.
You guys, you know why Dawson likes this movie so much? I'll tell you why.
Americans love television. They wean their kids on it. Listen, they love game shows. They love wrestling. They love sports, violence. So what do? We give them what they want.
Those are all things that Dawson loves. And this movie has all of them in spades.
And this movie takes place in 2019. So
not that far off.
Not that far off.
From right
I do
now.
love wrestling, violence, and game shows.
Game shows,
wrestling. I watched Amazing Race like a half an hour ago.
Wait, we were on here. We've been on here for over an hour now.
Okay. Feels like we've been here for 3 hours.
What do you do? I'm not sure what this is all supposed to mean. But top 10 movie for you. It had been, gosh. I mean, I bet it's been, I've said this a lot lately, but I bet it's been 20 years since I've seen The Running Man. So,
really?
Yeah. Dude,
okay.
I love Arnold, but I don't hit his back catalog very often. Like, not too often. I don't watch his movies over and over and over again. So I remembered liking it. I remembered most of it. There were some pieces of it I was like, oh yeah, I don't remember that. But overall, it's a fun little action movie. It's got some sci-fi in it. It's got a woman working out in lingerie for some reason. What is she doing? He shows up at her apartment. And she's using like a fucking Bowflex machine or whatever. Yeah. And she's in like I don't know, what do you call that? Teddy? Lingerie? What? I don't know what you call it.
Lingerie.
What is she doing? Why is she working out in that? That's my first question for this movie.
She's at home. Who cares?
Right.
I work out in my underwear.
You work out in your silk boxers?
Yeah. Go on the treadmill.
Also, considering what people work out in these days and go out in, like, I could see a future where people are just working out in lingerie and shit.
I like that Reggie just showed it old man bones right there. He's like, in what people go out in these days? Have you seen what these kids are wearing out there in the clubs?
I'm sure there's well, let's not be crazy here. There's Twitch channels of people working out probably in similar outfits. So
right.
Or that's probably got banned now, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, but they're making money off of that. She's just in the privacy of her own home.
Some people, that's so what?
They're doing that.
Who are you to judge?
To give a fuck and make a buck, bitch. She's doing it for no goddamn reason. But yeah, no. There's a lot to love about this movie. But the special effects, like any great 80s movie, do not hold up. At all.
Yes, they do. They're so good.
Do they?
No.
You go sell that shit? You gonna defend?
Hey.
I like the very first scene that you get that's like a cityscape. And it's very obviously like, it's like a fucking painting of a city in the background. They put some moving ships in front of it. But it's like a fucking, they painted it and took a shot. Very ILM, if you guys are familiar with Star Wars, which I don't know if you are. But yeah. Is this... let's take a look back at Arnold's early career, right? So, this movie came out in 1987. Before this movie, the same year as this movie, he had Predator. And then before that, it was Commando, Red Sonja, The Terminator, Conan. I don't remember Commando very much.
I do. I love Commando.
Commando is so good. Talk about one-liners. Like, Commando might be my favorite movie of his with one-liners.
So,
like when he's like, like my favorite one is, you know how I said I would kill you last? I lied. Just...
So okay, that actually leads me right into my question. Conan, he doesn't talk much, right?
Right.
Terminator, he doesn't talk much. Red Sonja, I don't remember him talking much. Commando, you mentioned a bunch of one-liners. We all know Predator has one-liners. The Running Man has one-liners. Did they feed him these one-liners to minimize the amount? Because he does have some significant pieces of dialogue in this movie. But do they feed him these one-liners so that he doesn't have to deliver a ton of English dialogue all at once?
Oh, that's a good question.
I don't know. I'd almost say I don't think so. But yeah. I'll let Reggie go because I had to cut him off.
Yeah, I would say probably not as well. Because I just think that's kind of his thing. It's kind of what he does, But I don't know if you get somebody like Arnold Schwarzenegger to be in your movie and you don't give him one-liners, even at that time.
But my question is that his thing because they decided to make it his thing to help him?
I mean, I'm sure it was a tactic, but then I think it's stuck because they saw like, in the Terminator, he says really quick, like robotic lines. So let's translate that into something that's almost like a comedic, because that's what it's like, almost like a comedic moment, and you love them, and they're cheesy, and I don't know, maybe that's his input too. I don't know, but no, because he talks a lot. Commando, he talks almost the entire movie.
Yeah,
like I said, I'll be perfectly honest with you. Of his, like, if you were to list his big top 10 movies, like most people would put Commando in there. That's the one that I know the least about. I mean, I've seen it a long time ago, but if I saw it now, it would probably be like a brand new movie to me.
Oh, I envy you.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I could definitely see it like an early, because they do it with some of those actors, like come in, they can't speak, they all start like, they'll start like that, then they get there, but
because in his first movie he did, Hercules, it's all dubbed. Like his English apparently was so bad that they just had somebody do like voiceover.
I think you meant Conan, but I'll let that slide.
No. He was in like a Hercules in New York.
That was his first movie.
Yeah.
Oh.
Then The Last Goodbye.
Well, then fuck me. Sorry.
That's why I do a trivia podcast.
Then he did a movie called Stay Hungry.
Guess who's the asshole?
I think the villain is a cowboy. Yeah, the villain is a Western movie.
Oh man.
Oh, he did a Western? Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
What, I mean, we've all sort of agreed over the years, and Dawson, you've even pulled me further over to your side, that he is, we were talking earlier about Peter Dinklage, who can do comedy and drama well. Arnold was sort of the forerunner to comedy and action. You know, someone that can do comedy and action. Like, he was the first guy to really do it well on both fronts, I think.
Yeah.
And we tried a long time ago to come up with a response to someone that was equal to him, and I think the best that we could legitimately come up with was The Rock. And is like third place like way down? Like, is there just a huge gap in between? It's like it's like I think Arnold Schwarzenegger, The Rock, John Cena.
No.
Hey, you shut your mouth
mention-
about John Cena.
That boy's one mean motherfucker.
I mean, John Cena doesn't deserve to be in this conversation, not yet.
You guys
But,
know I'm joking, right? Everyone knows I'm joking.
But I think if we're talking about like action comedy stars, you have to mention Jackie Chan. And I wonder if, like, I think Jackie Chan's, I wonder if he's bigger in Asia than, I know he's bigger in Asia than he is in America, but I wonder if he's like Asia's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Dude,
you know?
Jackie Chan still makes like $50 million a year making movies.
Oh my goodness. That reminds me. I tried to watch this Jackie Chan movie called The Mask. It's like, I don't know. I don't even know what it's a take on. It's like this Chinese movie. It was 2.5 hours long, and Jonathan and I got like an hour in it, and we were like, I can't do this anymore. Because it's just people traveling, and it's horrible. It's like, it starts out so amazing, because it's like these two groups of monks fighting over a dragon, and who's going to control the dragon, and like, that should be awesome, because one group gets banished, and they have to kind of get back together to, you know, take control of the dragon again. But it's just horrible. But like, the reason I mention it now is because Jackie Chan and Arnold Schwarzenegger had like a 10-minute fight scene in it, and all wire work and stuff. It was really amazing.
When was this movie? How old is it?
I think it came out last year.
Hold on. There is a movie with Jackie Chan and Arnold Schwarzenegger fighting each other using wire work.
Yes.
How have I not heard of that?
Let me look it up.
Apparently it's really bad too, Dawson.
I mean,
you know, Dawson, for such a big Schwarzenegger fan, Dawson, you sure do find out a lot about his movies from Reggie. So
yeah, because I'm not watching obscure. I'm sorry, he's in 10 minutes of Killing Gunther. Spoiler alert. Sorry, like.
And spoiler alert for this too. He's only in it for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not watching movies for his cameos.
Oh no, it came out this year, 2020. No, 2019.
Where did you watch it?
Redbox. Jonathan rented it off of Redbox.
Redbox hero, John.
So I guess it came out in China in 2019, and then in America in 2020. One of those things. It was distributed by Lionsgate in America in 2020.
Oh, John says Reggie learns them from John, the ultimate Arnold fan.
Nice.
Okay, and you know what? The Chinese, Jonathan, I'm glad you're here, because the Chinese version of this movie, the Chinese title of this movie, explains everything that happens. It's in China, it was called The Journey to China, The Mystery of Iron Mask, but they distributed it here in America as Iron Mask. And if I had known it was called The Journey to China, that explains everything, because the hour that we watched was just people traveling to China, and I was like, I don't understand what's happening right now.
You're literally following them like on a train or something.
Literally, that's what you were doing.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
It was not good. I don't recommend it. But anyway, back to Running Man.
Yeah, Dawson, what is it that makes you love this movie so much? What is it about this that keeps you coming back?
You have a sound clip for it.
Oh, well, I'm not gonna play it again.
Yeah, well, the sound clip explains it. It's everything about it, and this is one of the movies that I saw as a kid with my dad, and we watched it a lot. So that one sticks with me there. Just being as a kid watching with my dad, seeing this movie, I probably shouldn't have seen it when I was like 6 or whatever I was watching it at. But that was made it cool. So I always go back to just from that alone. And then I watched it again. I don't know, after one of our watch parties when I was still awake and I wanted to continue watching something and you guys went to bed, and I watched it and I stayed awake for the whole thing, and I just was like, man, this is great. It's the one-liners, it's the action, it's the story. And when I watched it a few months ago, how kind of close it is to things that are now, one of those things, it was a weird, like, whoa, this is, not that far off, I guess. So I just everything about it I love.
All right. I mean, I can see
I don't disagree. But what shocks me about this is not a beloved Schwarzenegger movie. Like, a lot of Schwarzenegger fans think this is one of his worst movies, and that boggles my mind.
Interesting. I mean, I've seen some bad Arnold movies.
Yeah, this is
not one of those. So over the course of the movie, obviously, he gets put into this TV show where they have you have to kill the other people he's trying to make it through. He faces Sub-Zero, Buzzsaw, Dynamo, Fireball, and Captain Freedom. Is that all of them? Did I get it? It's 5, right?
Yeah.
I think so. Who is your favorite of his oppositions?
I mean, personally, I like Captain Freedom because he's Jesse Ventura. Minnesota.
Governor of Minnesota, what's up?
He's your former governor of Minnesota. So yeah, he's always gonna have the sweet spot. I like Dynamo. He's such a weirdo. His opera, electric, his half go-kart thing.
Dude, Dynamo is so fucking weird.
Dynamo is my favorite because he's so weird. Yeah. It's like, I feel like he's showing up to a very different competition than everybody else, and he just does not care.
At one point, he winds up with his pants around his ankles because I think he was going to rape that woman. And
I think he was after his car got flipped, and then wardrobe malfunction, and then he was going to get down, and then he got electrocuted.
He was going to get down.
He was going to get he was eventually going to such.
That is kind of the problem with his movies. It's not very it doesn't hold up to 20 standards.
Yeah, but we've watched a lot of 80s movies over the course of the last couple months, and so far, every one of them has had either a couple of lines or a couple of moments. I'm just like, yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You cannot do that now. Every one of them. Like, the 80s was... I don't know if that was the wildest time for movies saying things you can't say now. Because I feel like if you go back to 70s movies, some of this stuff they weren't even doing and saying. The 80s is kind of a special time, bro.
Right?
Dude, it's the Wild West in the 80s in movies.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And this could have potentially been a PG-13 movie. Like, just how the rating scale. It could have been, but it wasn't.
But I'll say this. As much as Arnold is a big, huge part of the movie. Obviously, he's the main character. You got your 5 foes, you got his couple of friends. But for me, the guy that I pay attention to the most whenever he's on screen is Richard Dawson.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
As Damon
He
Killian.
is amazing in
He
this.
is so fucking great in this movie. So good. The fucking Family Feud guy is awesome.
Can you imagine Steve Harvey doing a role like this?
Well, we were joking about that. I said,
yeah.
when they remake this movie in a couple of years, it's going to be Steve Harvey hosting that show. And then, Reggie, I think you thought I was talking about Steve Harvey being Schwarzenegger.
Oh.
Constancio brings up some 80s movies. Porky's, 1981. Can't do that movie anymore. Revenge of the Nerds, 1984. That's got stuff in it you can't do anymore.
Yeah.
You can't do it.
Porky's is a big one. Like, oh.
And those, I mean, there's more. That could be a whole cutting room floor. The movies you can't do anymore.
Yeah, I'm putting it on the list right now. I don't want to forget that one. Patreon.com/CinemaChatPodcast. That episode will be released in January 2021. Oh, fuck. That's so good. But yeah, no, this was a fun trip back to 1987 to watch the Schwarzenegger movie. Thank you, Dawson, for suggesting it. We had been, up until last week's show where we did Attack the Block, we had been on a rough patch for the last few weeks. So it's good to get a couple of solid choices in back to back before we do. Next week we do Shot Caller. We're gonna have Constancio on for that. I've seen that. I'm not gonna tip my hat as to what I think about it, but we'll be talking about that. And then the week after that we have Jingle Jangle.
The amazing Jingle Jangle.
Ooh. All right. Do we want to go ahead and give our scores and get the F out of here? Sorry for the harsh letters.
Oof.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Reggie, you go first.
Like I said, I love this movie. Like, Running Man is one of my favorite Schwarzenegger movies, easily top 5. So, like, it should be no surprise that I'm gonna give this like a 9 out of 10.
Ooh, a 9 out of 10. My goodness. I enjoyed this. Last week I gave Attack on the Block an 8. This is kind of on enjoyment scales, right in the same spot for me. I don't have the same 80s attachment to it, like childhood attachment to this movie as like a Dawson does. So whenever I watch it, it does in parts look kind of like a busted up old movie. Not going to dig it too much for that because I still really enjoy it. I do like it a lot. I'm going to give it an 8 because I think it's a lot of fun and there's a lot of really weird characters in it. So solid movie, good choice. I enjoyed it.
No, and that's fair. And this is again, this is like
fair.
a top 10. This is a top 10 movie for me. I know it's a slam dunk for people liking it. If you don't like it, I don't know if we can be friends. Yeah, it's weird if you don't like this movie. I don't know how you don't like this movie. Talk to me. Let's figure it out. Stop it. Get help. Yeah, I love this movie. I love the action. I love the story, the comedy, everything about it. 9.5.
9.5.
It is. It's a 9.5 for me. It's a top 10 movie. I can't give it a 10 because I feel like I gotta save that for the 1. But
holy balls,
it's a 9.5. I love this movie. I could watch it tomorrow. I could watch it right now. Be happy.
Wow.
I love it that much. I would watch it. And it's Arnold. I mean, Arnold's on my Mount Rushmore. Okay.
What? You gonna fuck Arnold?
That's a different Mount Rushmore.
Whenever you say Mount Rushmore around here, that's what that means, sir.
What?
Your Mount Rushmore of dudes you would fuck. That's the only Mount Rushmore we do around here.
Oh, you don't use it for like the greatest of all time, like the Mount Rushmore of basketball players.
Somebody has changed Mount Rushmore, or we've been having a different Mount Rushmore conversation for quite some time.
And that's your Kentucky fact for the day. I did watch Hillbilly Elegy, so.
That boy's one mean motherfucker.
I mean, there's really nothing that encapsulates this movie better than this.
Americans love television. They wean their kids on it. Listen, they love game shows. They love wrestling. They love sports, violence. So what do? We give them what they want.
Thank you all for joining us. Like I said, we'll be back next week with Constancio D to review Shot Caller. Until then, we'll check you guys later. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
But you can follow us. I'm Brent, and I am
X, not Malcolm.
And he's Rob, and he's
Rob 1.
There's also Reggie, who is
Hit on.
We can't forget about Dawson at
Andy!
Underscore
Dawson.
Don't forget to follow the podcast at CinemaChatPod on Twitter. And check out our website, cinemachatpodcast.podbean.com.
I'm following you now. I'm just going to follow you everywhere. I'm just going to follow you the rest of my life.
Thanks, Peter. Now, if the rest of you would get off your ass and follow us, that would be great.
Mail, motherfucker!
Oh, and don't forget to send your emails to cinemachatpod@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Please, send us something. Have a good week, everyone. Goodbye. You didn't really think I was going to let that Kentucky shit talking go, did you? I watched Billy Elegy this week. It's really good. Make fun of you people in Kentucky, you fucking hicks. You terrible.
I forgot all about it too, and I had to look at my queue just to see that. I was like, yes.
God damn it.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.
Go.
Go.